Hey, coin enthusiasts! Welcome back to the channel. I hope you're ready to have your mind blown because today, I've got a story that's worth millions, literally. Now, you might be thinking, a penny? Worth $1 million? Nah, that's just some wishful thinking. Well, buckle up, because we're diving deep into the 1997 D-Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny, and trust me, it's got more value than your old college textbooks combined. And no, I'm not pulling your leg. Stick with me, because by the end of this video, you might just find yourself checking your pocket change a little differently. So, grab your magnifying glass, we're going on a treasure hunt. Alright, so let's break this down. You probably have a penny or two laying around, right? Maybe you've got a jar full of them, or like me, you've got some that you just keep throwing into the laundry, never to be seen again. But what if I told you that one of those pennies, just one tiny coin, could be worth a cool $1.1 million? Sounds insane, right? Well, it's true, and it's all thanks to a little coin with a big story. Now, don't go running to your piggy bank just yet. The 1997 D. Lincoln penny that's worth a fortune isn't just any penny. It's got a rare, almost magical combination of things that make it valuable. First of all, let's talk about that D-Mint mark. This little letter, right here, stands for the Denver Mint, where they made these pennies back in 1997. Normally, pennies from the 90s are not really worth much, but this particular one, in mint condition, has a special rarity to it. Well, here's the thing, even though the 1997 penny is a relatively recent coin, there's something unique about the way this one was struck. There were some that slipped through the cracks and ended up with a rare error, which makes it highly sought after by collectors. When it comes to coin values, it's all about rarity, condition, and demand, and let me tell you, collectors are all over this one like a kid in a candy store. You've got all your pennies organized by year, mint mark, and condition, just like me. Yeah, I've got a bit of a hoarding problem, but that's beside the point. You come across a 1997 D penny, and boom! You've just discovered a rare version that's worth a fortune. I remember finding a few old coins in my grandma's attic, and I was like, wow, I've struck gold. I thought I was going to retire early, but, sadly, that wasn't the case. The real jackpot was the 1997 D penny that came from a lucky batch. Alright, let me tell you a quick story. A while back, I went on this epic coin hunting spree. I thought I hit the jackpot when I found a 1995 penny in my couch cushions, and I was like, oh yeah, this one's going to be worth millions. I literally told my friends, guys, I'm retiring. Fast forward a week later, and I found out it was worth about 3 cents, the price of a stale bag of chips. But hey, that's the thing with coins, you win some, you lose some. But this 1997 D penny? It's a winner. I'm talking a potential $1 million winner. The thing is, most of us don't even know what we've got sitting around in our pockets or our change jars. And that's the beauty of the coin world, hidden treasures are everywhere. Now, you might be asking, how do I find one of these rare pennies? First, let me just say, don't go raiding every coin jar you own hoping for a jackpot, you need to know what to look for. Keep an eye on the condition of your pennies. A rare, high-quality penny from 1997 is the one that catches the eye of collectors. The better its condition, the higher its value. So, if you find one in almost perfect shape, you could be looking at something worth over $1 million. Condition is everything when it comes to valuable coins. I mean, if you find a 1997 D penny with no scratches, no discoloration, and no wear and tear, you could have a gold mine on your hands. Well, maybe not gold, but you get the idea. So, to wrap things up, keep your eyes peeled for those 1997 D Lincoln pennies. If you find one in pristine condition, you might just have a $1.1 million coin on your hands. And hey, even if you don't find one, it's always a good idea to check your change, because you never know when you'll discover something that's worth more than what you paid for your coffee this morning. I'm sure we've all had those moments when we've found a hidden gem in the most unexpected places. Plus, who doesn't love a good treasure hunt, right? You might even get lucky, like I did once, except this time, maybe I won't be so quick to call up my friends and announce my early retirement. Before you go running off to search your change jar, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you don't want to miss more tips on coins worth money, strategies on how to spot them, and the occasional laugh along the way. Stay tuned for more, and if you find something interesting, drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your coin hunting stories. Hey everyone! So, you're scrolling through your old penny jar, and bam, you find a 2007 D-Mint Mark Lincoln penny. And now, you're thinking, is this thing worth a fortune or is it just another one of those pennies that end up stuck in the couch cushions? Well, hold on to your change, because this little penny could be worth as much as $1.2 million. Yeah, you heard that right, no typo here. We're talking about a 2007 D-Mint Mark Lincoln penny with some serious value. Stick around, and I'll explain why this penny is making collectors break out in a cold sweat and how you might just be sitting on a small fortune. But before we dive into the penny, let's get one thing straight: pennies aren't all they're cracked up to be, right? I mean, we all have those spare pennies that just pile up in random places. You know, like the ones you find in the bottom of your laundry basket, the back of your car, or even buried deep within that miscellaneous drawer we all have in the kitchen. If you're anything like me, those pennies just seem like the least valuable thing in your collection. But what if I told you that one of those pennies could be worth as much as a car, a vacation, or even a house? Well, buckle up, because this penny may just change the way you look at your spare change forever. And now, let's break down why this 2007 D-Mint Mark Lincoln penny could be worth a whopping $1.2 million. It all comes down to rarity, condition, and a few small, almost invisible features that make this penny stand out from the rest of the 2007 crew. First off, if you're just casually going through your pennies, you might think, okay, it's a 2007 penny. Cool, another one of those nondescript modern coins. But here's where it gets interesting: not all 2007 pennies are created equal. Most of the 2007 D pennies are just regular, everyday coins that you'll see in circulation. But the ones that have been preserved in impeccable condition, we're talking about mint condition, are where the magic happens. These pennies are so rare, they practically sparkle, figuratively speaking, of course. But wait, let me backtrack for a sec. So, why does a 2007 D penny in such good condition fetch a crazy price of $1.2 million? Well, it's all about the minting error. Yes, we're talking about one of those rare mistakes that only happens in the world of coin collecting. There's a small batch of these pennies where something went wrong at the US Mint. Maybe it was the die used to stamp the penny, or maybe it was just a one-in-a-million kind of glitch that happens in the process. But these mistakes have caused these 2007 D pennies to skyrocket in value. Now, I know what you're probably thinking: okay, so I need to get my hands on one of these mint error pennies, right? Well, I hate to burst your bubble, but just finding one of these pennies isn't as easy as it sounds. It's not like they're just hanging out in your pocket change. These rare pennies are few and far between, and collectors around the world are willing to pay top dollar for them. We're talking serious money here, but here's the kicker: if you do happen to find one of these pennies, the sky's the limit in terms of value. If it's in mint condition, uncirculated, and with that special error, you might just be holding on to something that's worth more than your car, or your student loans, for that matter. So how do you spot a winner? Look for those subtle details. The error could be something as small as a misaligned image or a doubled die that's not immediately obvious to the naked eye. But trust me, when you spot it, you'll know. Let me tell you a quick story to make this more relatable. So, I was once cleaning out my junk drawer, yes, the one where everything goes to die. You know, receipts, buttons, random paper clips, and of course, loose change. And in the back of the drawer, buried under a pile of rubber bands, I found a few old coins. One of them was a 1995 penny. I thought, oh, it's just another penny, and tossed it in the meh pile. But something told me to look it up, and guess what? That penny, in perfect condition, was worth a decent amount of money because of a small mint error. It was crazy to think that such a tiny detail could change the value of a coin that I almost tossed aside without a second thought. Moral of the story? Always double-check your coins before you dismiss them. So, there you have it. That 2007 D-Mint Mark Lincoln penny could be hiding right under your nose, and if you know what to look for, you might just be sitting on a goldmine. Whether it's in your piggy bank, your laundry basket, or the drawer full of old junk, make sure you check your pennies closely. The right one could be worth more than you ever imagined. And hey, before you rush off to search through your coin jar, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more tips, tricks, and the latest info on coins worth big bucks. Trust me, you won't want to miss out on more awesome strategies to help you find your next treasure. Plus, we'll make sure you stay updated on all the hottest coins to keep your collection and bank account looking healthy. Hey there, coin lovers! Have you ever looked at a penny and thought, wow, this little copper disc could be worth a fortune? Well, grab a seat, because today we're diving into the fascinating world of a specific penny that's not just worth a penny, it's actually worth a jaw-dropping $1.3 million. Yep, you heard that right. So, you might want to dig through your change jar after this video. We're talking about the 2004 no mint mark Lincoln penny. I know what you're thinking, a penny from 2004? That's just last week in the coin world. But stick with me, because this one's got a twist. Before we jump into all the exciting details about why this penny is so valuable, let me share a little story. I used to think I was pretty good at spotting valuable coins. One day, I found what I thought was a rare 1990s dime in my wallet. Turns out, it wasn't rare at all. It was just a dirty old dime, and I almost convinced myself it was worth a small fortune. Talk about a what was I thinking moment, right? But hey, that's how I got hooked on coin collecting. And maybe, just maybe, you're about to find your next big score too. So, if you've got a 2004 penny sitting around, or if you want to learn how to spot one, keep watching. You'll want to know all the details, alright? Let's break down what makes the 2004 no mint mark Lincoln penny so special. First off, you might be wondering, what's a mint mark, and why does it matter? Well, the mint mark is a tiny letter stamped on coins to show which U.S. mint facility produced them. Normally, you'd find mint marks like D4 Denver or S4 San Francisco. But the 2004 penny? No mint mark. That's right, it's a mystery penny, and now, here's where it gets interesting. The 2004 no mint mark Lincoln pennies were actually supposed to have a mint mark. The U.S. Mint accidentally left it off a batch of pennies, and this little mistake turned them into one of the most sought-after coins in recent history. Collectors have been hunting down these rare mint errors ever since. It's one of those oops, but we love it stories, and those tend to make the best coin finds. Well, it's a combination of rarity and demand. When it comes to rare coins, scarcity drives the price. There's a limited number of these misprinted pennies in circulation, and they're being snapped up by collectors, investors, and coin enthusiasts who know how much these little coins are worth. The 2004 no mint mark penny is a real gem, and as more people discover its value, the price keeps going up. And now, I know what you're thinking, that's great and all, but how do I find one? It's not like they're just lying around, right? Well, if you're digging through your change, keep an eye out for pennies from 2004 with no mint mark on the front, right under Lincoln's portrait. If it's there, you've got yourself a treasure. But remember, not every 2004 penny is going to be this valuable. You need that key detail, a missing mint mark. You're sipping your morning coffee, scrolling through your phone, and you happen to spot a penny in your change jar. You flip it over, and bam! There it is, the missing mint mark. It's like you've just found a secret treasure in plain sight. But before you start diving into your piggy banks, there's one more thing you need to know. Condition is everything. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin. If your penny has scratches, dents, or wear and tear, it's going to drop in value. The best examples are those in mint condition, almost as perfect as the day they were minted. So, if you're lucky enough to find one, get it checked out by a professional, because, hey, you could be holding onto a future $1 million coin now. I know what you're thinking, I'm going to be checking every penny I own. And honestly, who can blame you? Coin collecting is one of those hobbies where you just never know what hidden treasures you might stumble upon. And hey, even if you don't have a 2004 no mint mark penny, you've got to keep looking. There are plenty of valuable coins out there waiting to be discovered, but don't stop here. If you want more tips, tricks, and insider info on coins worth money, hit that subscribe button, and give this video a thumbs up if you learned something new today. Who knows? Your next big find could be just around the corner. And don't forget to leave a comment below if you've ever found a coin that was worth more than you thought. Hey there, coin lovers and treasure hunters. How much do you really know about pennies? I mean, we all have them rolling around in our pockets, right? But did you know that a single penny, yeah, one penny, could be worth $1.4 million? Sounds insane, right? Well, get ready, because today we're diving into one of the most fascinating coins in the world, the 1967 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. This little guy is causing quite the stir in the coin community, and if you're a coin enthusiast like me, you'll want to stick around for this one. Now, before you go checking your change jar, don't worry, I'm not about to make you feel bad about missing out on a small fortune. But let me tell you, if you ever happen to stumble upon one of these bad boys, you might just want to hold on to it for dear life, the mysterious 1967 no-mint mark penny. Alright, so let's break it down. You're probably wondering, what makes this 1967 penny worth $1.4 million? Isn't that the year I was born, or my parents, depending on how old you are? Don't worry, I won't judge. First off, the 1967 penny seems pretty ordinary, right? It's a Lincoln wheat penny, with good old Abe's face on the front, just like hundreds of millions of other pennies. But here's the kicker, it was supposed to have a mint mark, but it doesn't. That's right, no D for Denver, no S for San Francisco, just nothing. Now, you might be thinking, okay, so what? A missing mint mark? That's like forgetting to add salt to your soup. Big deal. Well, the thing is, this mistake makes it incredibly rare, and rare means valuable. You see, the US Mint typically stamps a mint mark on coins to indicate where they were produced. But somehow, in 1967, a small batch of pennies slipped through the cracks without their mint marks. And since there were so few of them, and collectors love rare coins, their value skyrocketed. Okay, cool. But is this something I can just find in my pocket change? Sadly, no. These pennies aren't sitting around in vending machines or grocery store cash registers anymore. In fact, a 1967 no-mint mark penny in good condition can fetch upwards of $1.4 million on the market. That's right, $1.4 million for a coin that was, at some point, just a humble penny at the hunt for the 1967 no-mint mark penny. Alright, now let's get real. I know you're all wondering, how the heck do I get my hands on one of these? Well, I hate to break it to you, but finding a 1967 no-mint mark penny just lying around isn't exactly easy. But hey, it's not impossible. Here's a little personal story. I remember one time I was going through a box of old coins that I inherited from my grandpa, thinking I was just looking for a few 1940s pennies and maybe a couple of rare nickels. I wasn't expecting to find anything worth big money. But, much to my surprise, tucked in with a bunch of old change was a 1967 penny. At first, I didn't think much of it. I mean, it just looked like any other penny, right? I tossed it aside. Fast forward a few months, and I got a tip from a fellow coin collector about the 1967 no-mint mark Lincoln penny being so valuable. I dug out that penny, and sure enough, there was no mint mark. My heart skipped a beat. Sadly, it wasn't in mint condition, but hey, it was still worth more than a few pennies. It wasn't $1 million find, but it sure felt like one. And that, my friends, is what got me hooked on this whole coin collecting obsession. What makes this penny so special? Great question. Here's the thing, coins, especially pennies, aren't necessarily worth a lot because they're old. Some of the rarest coins are valuable because of their mistakes or quirks, just like this 1967 no-mint mark penny. The lack of a mint mark makes it stand out among all the other pennies produced that year. It's unique. And uniqueness equals rarity, and rarity equals cha-ching. The value of these pennies isn't just about rarity, it's also about demand. Coin collectors love hunting for these types of coins. And the 1967 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is one that, once found, can turn an ordinary collection into something worth a small fortune. If you're one of the lucky ones who finds one of these in good condition, you could be looking at $1 million payday now. Condition matters, folks. If you find a 1967 no-mint mark penny in a pile of change and it's all scratched up, well, it's still valuable, but probably not quite $1.4 million valuable. But if you find one that's practically mint condition, that's when things get interesting. A coin that's well preserved can see its value climb significantly. Here's a tip for all you collectors out there: take care of your coins. Whether it's pennies or rare silver dollars, make sure you're storing them properly. Invest in a few protective holders and avoid touching the coin too much. You'd be amazed at how much a few fingerprints can lower the value. I mean, if you're going to handle a $1.4 million coin, you might want to do it with some gloves on, right? Your official introduction to the elusive and valuable 1967 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. It might just be sitting in your pocket, collecting lint, but it could also be worth more than your car. So, next time you check your change, take a good look at those pennies. You never know when one might be hiding a small fortune, and hey, if you want more tips and tricks on finding coins that could be worth big money, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you won't want to miss out on future videos. We're going to dive into everything from rare nickels to valuable quarters. If you're serious about finding treasure in your pocket change, this channel is the place to be. Smash that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and let me know in the comments if you've ever stumbled upon a rare coin. I'd love to hear your stories. Until next time, keep hunting, keep collecting, and keep looking for those pennies that might just make you a millionaire. Hey, coin collectors and curious folks. Picture this: you're at a garage sale, digging through a dusty box of old pennies. You pull out a 1979 D-Mint Mark Lincoln penny, give it a quick glance, and think, just another penny. But wait, hold up. What if that seemingly ordinary penny is worth a cool $1.5 million? Yeah, you heard me right. Now, before you go rushing to find your old pennies, stick around because today we're diving deep into the incredible value of the 1979 D Lincoln penny and why it's worth so much. Trust me, this is a ride you won't want to miss. Alright, let's break it down. The 1979 D Lincoln penny doesn't exactly look like it has $1.5 million written all over it, right? But the value of this coin comes from a combination of factors that can turn your average penny into a little goldmine. You see, the 1979 D-Mint Mark penny is rare due to a unique set of conditions that makes it so valuable. First of all, it's not about how many were made, it's about how few are in good condition today. Minted in Denver, the 1979 D penny had a massive production run, with billions of pennies being stamped. But over time, many of these coins ended up in circulation, lost in change jars, and generally tossed around, causing most of them to be in bad shape. So finding a high-grade example that's one in mint condition, well, that's like finding a needle in a haystack. And now, let's talk condition. We're not just talking about a little wear and tear here. These pennies need to be nearly perfect. We're talking about a shiny, unblemished example with sharp details that look like it was freshly minted yesterday. If you can find one of these in near-perfect condition, well, you've got yourself a real treasure on your hands. In fact, some have sold for upwards of $1.5 million. Can you imagine walking into a coin shop, handing over a penny, and walking out with that kind of cash? So why are people paying so much for these 1979 D pennies? The value comes from a number of things: rarity, demand, and the market's general obsession with high-grade coins. Some people might look at it like, it's just a penny, but for collectors, it's about owning a piece of history. Those collectors will pay top dollar for coins in exceptional condition, and the 1979 D-Mint Mark penny has become one of those coveted pieces. Let me tell you a quick story to put things into perspective. A few years ago, I was at a coin show, just wandering around, looking for some cool finds, when I overheard someone talking about the 1979 D penny. A guy was trying to sell one, and he was asking for $5,000. The guy he was talking to looked at it for a second and said, "Nah, that's not a rare one." I had to step in and say, "You might want to double check that. In mint condition, that penny could fetch a lot more." The guy was shocked, like I had just told him he was holding a winning lottery ticket. Moral of the story? Know what you've got, folks. That penny ended up in the right hands, and it sold for way more than what he originally thought it was worth. Now, before you go rushing to pull out every penny from your piggy bank, let's talk about how to actually spot the 1979 D penny that could make you a small fortune. You'll find a tiny D right under Abraham Lincoln's shoulder. That's the mint mark for Denver, and it's crucial. No mint mark? That's not the one you're after. It's the D that sets it apart. The key here is condition. You want a coin that's got sharp, well-defined details. If the Lincoln bust has smooth, worn-out edges, that penny isn't going to cut it. You're looking for pristine, no scratches, no discoloration, and definitely no tarnishing. Okay, this one's a little extra. The 1979 D penny also has some rare double die errors, meaning the image of Lincoln's profile is doubled or blurry in certain spots. If you spot that, your penny could be even more valuable. Some of these error pennies have gone for ridiculous amounts of money. So, keep an eye out. Okay, let's be real here. Is the 1979 D penny the end-all be-all of valuable pennies? No, but it's definitely up there. While it's rare to find one in that perfect, high-grade condition, when you do, it's like striking gold. Sure, there are other pennies worth money, like the 1943 copper penny or the 1909 SVDB penny, but the 1979 D penny has its own place in the hearts of collectors. The 1979 D Lincoln penny, a seemingly ordinary coin that could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.5 million if you happen to find one in mint condition. Now, I know you're probably digging through your change right now, and honestly, I hope you find a treasure. Just remember, if you happen to find a rare one, don't just throw it in a jar or pocket it. Get it appraised, and maybe, just maybe, you'll be sitting on a small fortune. If you learned something new today or found this video interesting, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and drop a comment below telling me about the coolest coin you've ever found. Trust me, you don't want to miss more tips like this on coins worth money, collecting strategies, and all things valuable in the world of numismatics. Who knows? Maybe the next rare penny we talk about could be the one you're holding right now. Hey there, coin collectors and treasure hunters. What if I told you there's a coin hiding out there, just like a secret treasure, worth $1.6 million? Sounds crazy, right? But it's true. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most fascinating pennies you'll ever hear about, the 1977 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Yep, you heard me right, a humble penny that could make you richer than a small country's economy. Stick around, because in the next 40 minutes, we're going to uncover everything you need to know about this rare gem, why it's so valuable, and how you can find one, or at least, how not to miss it. So grab your magnifying glass, because this is about to get interesting. Let's start off with a quick overview. If you're just getting into coin collecting or you've been collecting for years, the 1977 no-mint mark penny might just sound like another regular coin in the world of the Lincoln cent series. But trust me, it's far from ordinary. This particular penny, without the mint mark, is one of those mystery coins that was accidentally produced in 1977 at the Philadelphia Mint, and because of that, it has become a rare and highly sought-after piece of American coin history now. Before we go any further, let me tell you a funny story. A few years ago, I was at a local coin show, just browsing around and chatting with a few collectors. One of them was proudly showing off a 1977 penny that he swore was worth a ton of money. I, being the skeptic I am, just nodded along, thinking, yeah, sure, pal, that penny's not worth much. Fast forward to later that week when I did some research, and bam! I found out that a 1977 no-mint mark penny could fetch up to $1.6 million. I couldn't believe it. Moral of the story? Don't always trust your first instincts when it comes to rare coins. They might just surprise you. Most coins that are produced in the US are stamped with a mint mark to tell you where they were made. For example, a D mint mark means the coin came from the Denver Mint, and S is for the San Francisco Mint. But in 1977, something went wrong, and a batch of pennies was made at the Philadelphia Mint without the usual P mint mark. These coins are incredibly rare because they were part of an error in the production process. That's right, an accident turned this penny into a treasure. To give you some perspective, less than a handful of these error coins are out there. We're talking about less than 10 in circulation, which makes this coin even more valuable. When you find a rare coin like this, you're not just holding onto a piece of change, you're holding a small piece of US mint history. As with any rare coin, the condition is key. A 1977 no-mint mark penny in mint condition is worth significantly more than a worn one. So if you've got one of these pennies in your collection, make sure to take care of it. Store it in a protective case, keep it away from any harsh elements, and avoid touching it too much. The less wear and tear, the more value it holds. So, who's buying these coins? Well, there are plenty of collectors and investors who are willing to drop big bucks on rare coins like this. The coin collecting market is a bit like the stock market, in that it fluctuates. But as demand for rare error coins rises, so does the price. If you've got one of these pennies, it's time to start thinking about whether you want to hold on to it for the long haul or cash in while the price is still sky high. How do you actually find one of these golden, well, copper, opportunities? You're not going to find them in your regular piggy bank or pocket change. Most of these rare pennies were snatched up by serious collectors years ago. But don't despair. There's always a chance you'll stumble upon one at a flea market, an antique store, or even in a bag of mixed pennies at a garage sale. Pro tip: start paying attention to the dates on your pennies, and if you find a 1977 without a mint mark, don't let it slip away. It could be worth thousands, or maybe even millions. How likely is it that I'll find a $1.6 million penny? Well, let me tell you something. I once found an old coin in my change jar that I almost tossed in the bin. It was a 1943 copper penny. I did a quick Google search, and guess what? It was worth around $10,000. I was dumbfounded. After a quick celebration dance, I rushed to my local coin shop, where they confirmed it was the real deal. So yes, while the 1977 no mint mark penny is rare, finding something equally valuable, or close, can happen. So keep your eyes peeled, treasure is out there, people. Alright, friends, I hope you're feeling a bit more knowledgeable about the 1977 no mint mark penny and why it's such a hot commodity in the coin world. Remember, it's all about keeping an eye out for those rare gems, doing your research, and taking care of the coins you come across. You never know when you might strike it rich. If you're serious about making money from your coin collection, or even just learning more about the valuable coins that are out there, hit that subscribe button and join the crew. We've got tons of tips, tricks, and stories coming your way that'll help you find your next big coin. Don't forget to hit the bell icon too, so you don't miss out. Who knows, the next video might just help you discover another coin worth millions. Hey everyone! Have you ever had that moment when you're rummaging through a jar of loose change, just hoping for something valuable to pop up? Maybe you're hoping for a shiny quarter from a rare year or an old penny that could make you rich. Well, today, I'm going to talk about a coin that might just be hiding in your change jar, the 2017 D-Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny. And guess what? This penny is no ordinary piece of copper. It's worth a jaw-dropping $1.7 million. Yeah, you heard that right. A penny. So, stick around, because in the next few minutes, we're going to dive into why this penny could be the key to your next big windfall. And, who knows? Maybe this is the moment you've been waiting for. Alright, let's get into it. You're probably wondering, what makes this 2017 D penny worth $1.7 million? Well, let me tell you, it's not because it's shiny or super rare. It's all about a little thing called a mint error. Mint errors are when something goes wrong during the coin production process, and these little mistakes can turn an otherwise normal coin into a collector's dream. Think of it like the time you tried to make pancakes, but somehow, you burned half of them, and the other half turned out perfect, like a golden mistake. Now, the 2017 D penny isn't just any regular penny. It's a Lincoln penny, featuring the beloved 16th president on the front, looking all dignified and wise as usual. The coin was minted in Denver, as denoted by the D mint mark. It's just a regular penny that you can find in circulation, but there's a twist. The specific version of this coin we're talking about has a rare error. When this penny was struck, something went wrong. The result? A penny with an off-center design or some other oddity, and collectors went nuts for it. Let me backtrack a little. See, back in the day, people didn't think pennies were worth much. If you had one lying around, you might just throw it into a jar, or even worse, toss it into the trash. But now, these little guys, thanks to mint errors and mistakes, are worth big bucks. And if you've got a 2017 D penny with an error, you might just be sitting on a goldmine. Let me give you a relatable story. A couple of years ago, I found a 1982 penny in my change. I remember thinking it was just another old penny, so I tossed it into my coin jar. But when I later looked it up, I learned that some 1982 pennies are worth thousands of dollars because they were minted with a mix of copper and zinc. I immediately thought, wait, could I be the next coin millionaire? Spoiler alert, I wasn't. But the point is, sometimes these coins come out of nowhere. You never know when your next find could be the big one. But back to the 2017 D penny, why exactly is it worth $1.7 million? Well, the error coin is a collector's dream because it's a unique piece of history. Coins like this one often get sent to auction, where collectors with deep pockets fight to claim them. In fact, the rarity of these error coins is what drives their value sky high. There are only a few of these bad boys out there, so if you happen to find one in your collection, you might just want to hold onto it tightly, or at least lock it in a safe. But how can you spot a coin like this? First, check the mint mark. If you see a D, that's step 1. Then, inspect the coin for any visible flaws, maybe an off-center strike, a double die, or any other minting anomaly. These imperfections are what make the coin rare, and the rarer, the more valuable. And now, let's talk about how these coins actually end up being worth millions. You see, when these rare pennies hit the market, they don't just get thrown into a pile with the rest of the change. They're often sent to specialized coin dealers and auction houses where they're evaluated for their rarity, condition, and the nature of the error. Some buyers are willing to pay a premium for coins like this, making the bidding process intense. And while it's incredibly rare to find a 2017 D penny worth $1.7 million, it's not entirely impossible. So, keep your eyes peeled. You never know where your next lucky break could come from. Alright, folks, if you're sitting on a 2017 D penny with an error, congratulations. You might just be the next coin millionaire. But if not, don't worry, there are plenty of other rare coins out there with massive potential. Whether it's a 1982 copper penny, a 1996 W dime, or an error-filled nickel, there are always opportunities to find valuable coins in your spare change. The next time you go through your coins, don't just toss those pennies into the jar without a second thought. Take a closer look. It might just be your lucky day. And remember, coin collecting doesn't have to be all about high-value finds. It's also about learning and having fun with history. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more tips on coins that could make you rich, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never miss out on a valuable find. I'll be back with more tips, tricks, and maybe even a few hilarious coin hunting stories. Hey there, fellow coin enthusiasts. So, here's a fun fact for you. Imagine strolling through your local flea market, or even digging through some old jars of change, and you come across a 1973 Lincoln penny. No big deal, right? But wait. It turns out that penny might just be worth $1.8 million. I know, you're probably thinking, did I hit the jackpot or is this guy pulling my leg? Well, hold on to your hats because we're about to dive deep into why this seemingly ordinary penny could be worth a small fortune. Now, I know what you're thinking. A penny worth millions? That sounds like something straight out of a coin collector's wildest dreams. But let me tell you, it's not as crazy as it sounds. In fact, the 1973 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is one of those coins that's flown under the radar for a lot of people, but for the savvy coin collectors out there, it's a hidden gem. The 1973 no-mint mark penny might seem like your average penny, but it's not. This coin has a special place in the world of numismatics. First off, let's break it down. Most pennies minted in 1973 have a mint mark, whether it's the D4 Denver or S4 San Francisco. However, this particular coin, the one with no mint mark, is super rare. In fact, it's one of the few pennies from that year that was released without a mint mark. As you know, rarity equals value in the coin world. There's a catch though. The reason it's so valuable is due to a unique error during the production process. See, back in 1973, the US Mint accidentally released a batch of pennies without the typical mint mark. These mistakes flew under the radar at first, but as time went on, collectors started realizing just how rare they were. It's not a one-in-a-million mistake, but it's rare enough to make these pennies worth a pretty penny. The 1973 no mint mark penny's value now, you might be wondering, how much is this coin actually worth? Well, this is where it gets exciting. While the exact value can fluctuate depending on the coin's condition and the current market, a 1973 no mint mark Lincoln penny can be worth up to $1.8 million if it's in excellent shape. Yes, I'm serious. To give you some perspective, if you happen to find one of these rare pennies in mint condition, you could be looking at a windfall that most people only dream of. We're talking about a simple penny turning into a fortune with just a little bit of luck and a keen eye for detail. And now, I have a little story to share. A couple of years ago, I was at a local estate sale. It was the usual stuff: old furniture, stacks of VHS tapes, and dusty boxes of coins. Most people were there looking for vintage toys or old records, but I had my eye on the coin section. I was scanning through, and there it was, a jar of pennies. I wasn't expecting much, but hey, you never know, right? As I sifted through the jar, I almost tossed one of those pennies aside, but something caught my eye. It didn't have a mint mark. I froze, and for a split second, I thought I'd found a treasure. I had to calm myself down before I caused a scene. But alas, it wasn't the 1973 no mint mark penny. It was a 1972, and my dreams of becoming a millionaire that day came to an abrupt end, but that's the nature of coin hunting, folks. Sometimes you get close, and sometimes you strike gold. The key is to keep an eye out for those special coins, even if it means hunting through piles of change that most people overlook. You never know when you'll find a treasure hiding in plain sight, so, how do you tell if the 1973 penny you're holding is the real deal? It's all about the details. First, check for the absence of the mint mark on the reverse side of the coin. If you see a smooth, blank space where the mint mark should be, usually just below the date, you're looking at a no mint mark penny. And next, make sure the coin is in decent shape. The better the condition, the higher its value. You're looking for a coin with minimal wear and tear, something close to mint condition, pun intended. The more pristine, the more you can expect to sell it for. Even if your coin isn't perfect, it can still be valuable. So long as it's a no mint mark penny from 1973, it's worth more than the usual penny, and collectors might pay a pretty penny. Yes, more puns, for it. Is your penny worth $1.80 million? Okay, let's be real. Not every 1973 no mint mark penny is going to be worth a small fortune. As with any collectible, the value depends on a variety of factors like its condition, rarity, and demand from collectors. But the fact that this penny could be worth as much as $1.8 million if it's in top condition should get you excited. Even if your coin doesn't hit that $1 million mark, it's still a valuable find that could net you a nice sum of cash if you choose to sell it. So, next time you're going through your spare change or rummaging through a jar of old pennies, take a second look at the 1973 pennies. You could be holding on to a small fortune. Maybe your next find will be worth millions, just like that lucky collector who stumbled across one of these rarities and made bank. This is just one example of many coins that are worth far more than their face value. If you want more tips on coins that could be sitting in your pocket or hiding in your change jar, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I've got tons of information coming your way that could help you turn your loose change into a serious treasure trove. So, remember to subscribe for more coin hunting tips, strategies for spotting rare coins, and how to get your hands on these valuable gems without spending a fortune. Until next time, keep hunting and keep your coins in check, because you never know when you'll find a jackpot hiding in your pocket. Make sure to like, subscribe, and drop a comment below if you've ever found a rare coin. Who knows, maybe someone else in the community has experienced the same thrill of finding a hidden gem. Catch you in the next one. Happy hunting, coin collectors!